Some people may say that Jimmy Uso was the biggest winner of WrestleMania weekend. Some people may say that Jacob Fatu was the biggest winner of WrestleMania weekend. But I say that Dylan O'Brien was the biggest winner of WrestleMania weekend as his two goats came together to form a goat collaboration, a goat faction. Um, so, so that's exactly what we're going to get into. WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw after Mania, and then we're also potentially what happened on Friday Night SmackDown because we had one heck of a WrestleMania weekend. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we really did, man. Um, if you listen to this podcast, you've heard me say it. I've said it countless times over this entire build. Seth is winning at Mania.
You're
This
very
entire
confident.
I literally said it till like after he like I'm just I'm very proud of myself this entire time. I was like, he's winning at Mania. There's no way he's taking all these L's, not getting clean, good wins to just take another at Mania. I knew it wasn't going to happen, and it didn't, man. And my favorite wrestler, Seth Rollins, joined up with my GOAT, Paul Heyman. As you can see, I'm an extreme Paul Heyman guy.
Hell yeah.
Little shirt check for you before we get into each and every one of these wrestling matches. But
Actually, extreme Paul Heyman guy.
yeah, I'm an extreme Paul Heyman guy. Had to break it out because, of course, we got a new Paul Heyman guy, and his name is Seth Rollins.
That's right, Dylan.
So,
And
Mark, how about you? What about your shirt?
yeah, this one, it brings me no joy. It brings me no honor to wear this scumbags T-shirt. But I
Maybe a
feel like
little joy, but no honor, definitely.
but I had to do it because that John Cena, the champ, just won number 17 at WrestleMania. So we got a nice little John Cena here, T-shirt right there with the spinner belt scratch logo WWE,
Chain
and
gang
then
logo on there.
on the back, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but we
Oh
got
yeah, big chain gang soldier.
yeah.
You want
I
some? Come
just
get some. Great
felt
shirt.
felt obligated to wear this
No doubt.
T-shirt.
No doubt. No doubt.
So yeah, Dylan, we had a lot of things happen at WrestleMania, and
Yeah,
I
man.
mean a lot.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to get into first?
I mean, we might as well just go in order, you know? So we'll kick into that. We have a new world heavy yeet champion, and his
Yeet.
name is Jay. Hold up. Main event Jay Uso. Yeet. Main
Yeet.
event Jay Uso is your new world heavyweight champion. Um, I actually thought it was a pretty good match, entertaining. I honestly wish they gave them a little bit more time. Um, and I will say, right winner, Jey Uso needed to get the victory here.
Big time.
Um, my only I don't even, so I'll say my only like real like qualm with this match. I don't even have as much of a problem with Gunther tapping out as a lot of people do. It's
Okay.
just how quickly the tap happened. Like if I think Jay should have had that locked in a little bit longer before Gunther tapped. And I think it would have made the moment bigger for Jay. Like I think it felt a little sudden because we weren't really expecting that. So I felt like if they just had him, and I mean this like I think the submission, I think that was a great way to end the match. I think it was a good call. Um, I don't even, like I said, I don't even have many problems with Gunther tapping. It's mainly just how quickly it happened. Like if he had that thing locked in for a little while, for like what, I don't know, 15 seconds or so, and then we get the tap, or if he like choked him out and like Gunther passed out. Um, I thought, like, you know what I mean, like getting the ref like dropping the hand, calling for the bell. Jake did it, he did it, Gunther's out. Like I think that would have, I think it would have made the moment better for Jay, truly. Like, I think it just would have been a little bit of a better end to the match. I don't think the tap needed to happen as quickly as it did. But with all that being said, right winner. I really don't have too much of a problem with the tap out, as many people do. I don't know. Gunther's a heel at the end of the day. Like, he'll be fine. Like, he's a dominant heel. If he gets a good push, he'll be fine. And we know he's going to get a good push. Like, every time he takes
He's
a loss,
already
it's followed
fine.
by a good push.
He's already fine
Yeah, he's
after
already
what
fine.
happened
He just
on Monday
killed
Night
Pat
Raw.
McAfee. Yeah.
Like that's
So,
that's
like,
just like how like good he is, and especially when you like think about it, it's like one thing to pin a heel, but then you like to make like a heel tap and to make Gunther tap out, like that does more for Jay than pinning Gunther. And I think that they probably wanted to protect Gunther from not eating a ton of pinfalls also. Um, even though it's probably the first time he's tapped out, I'd imagine. Um, in on like his
no.
main roster.
Oh, main roster, yeah. Yeah, he tapped out in
UK.
NXT. Yeah, he tapped out in NXT to I can't remember if it was bait to done. It was actually pretty similar. Like, he tapped out quickly. It was like a
Yeah,
very similar. It might have been kind of a callback. I don't know if that's like, or if they were like, it's not out of character for Gunther to do this because he has done it before.
yeah.
Um,
Not a lot of people put him in a submission.
yeah,
So
I think it's I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt because that was also like I feel like it was against Pete, and like Pete is like he is the uh what do they call him? The joint manipulator or something. Like he's a he
oh yes,
hurts he hurts your bones. So
something like that.
but anyway, uh yeah, what were your thoughts? Do you have any other thoughts before we move
Um,
on?
no, I thought overall the match was good. I don't know, like I didn't really check to see like how the internet wrestling fan base was feeling about it. I know people were kind of pissed heading into WrestleMania that Gunther was fighting Jay, but I think that's was probably mostly just a bunch of nonsense. So I mean, yeah, right person won. Felt like it had to be Jey Uso winning this. If he didn't win it, he would probably never be able to recover. It was like that really felt like the now or never
Big time. Big
situation
time.
for him. And I mean, dude, like I don't know. It's like Gunther's fine. He can move on to something else. He can feud with somebody else. I mean, that's still like one of the craziest stats is that like 75% of his time in WWE, he was a champion. So it's like,
And it probably won't be that long until he holds another belt, to be honest. Like, let's be
yeah,
real. Like, he's whatever Gunther does, it's going to be high profile. Like, the guy is completely fine. I think he's like reached that point. Like, I think I think he's just going to be, there's certain guys that are pretty fine, kind of no matter what, as long as they have a decent plan for what's next for them. And it kind of feels like Gunther's in that boat now at this point. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
like he lost to Sammy last year, and some people didn't love it. And then, but then it went to all right, Gunther's going King of the Ring, and then it just immediately went into this push and this whole world title run. And now, who knows what's next for Gunther? You know what I mean? Um, a lot of stuff could still happen. I really hope it's not a feud with Pat McAfee. I really hope that was more
I'm a
just
little
to
scared of that, if I'm being quite honest.
yeah, I will say I'm wishful thinking, but I don't think it will be quite like that. Like I think it'll be. I think they were doing that more just because that was like a. I don't know. Like if anyone, that's just like someone around the ring. Like if you're gonna choke, if you have to choke out Michael Cole or Pat McAfee, like obviously you're gonna do it to Pat. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah,
way more healthy, not healthy, just younger than Cole.
yeah.
You don't want to choke out Cole. I don't know. Like I have some faith that it really was just to establish like the um how pissed Gunther is, but also I mean if that is the case, if they do something like that, like Gunther's just gonna kill him. Like there's no way they're gonna book it any other way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I was definitely nervous once Pat got in that shot on him, and I
Yeah.
thought they were gonna just like end it there, and I got
So
like
did I, and I
I
was
was
like, dude,
pretty
no.
annoyed,
So
and then
yeah,
he just
but
like killed him, which was good. But um, let's move on because we have new world tag team champions, Dylan. That's the
yeah,
New
man.
Day.
The New Day. The New
What
Day
number was
versus the
that?
uh
12 or 13?
so Xavier is saying 13.
Okay.
WWE, I believe, is saying 12.
Okay.
I don't know if
Interesting.
Xavier is counting their NXT title run,
Okay.
potentially. Um, or they could have had 12 going into it and then became 13. But I'm going to go with what my boy X is saying. And he's saying
Hey,
13.
he seems like
So,
the person to trust.
so X is in Xavier Woods. Let's be real. Um, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It was the right decision. Um, I mean, I think we're all in the spot of hindsight's 2020. I mean, I would have done it anyway. Like I didn't. Both of us would have done it. Many people probably would have done the same thing and put that TLC match on the card over that tag title match.
I would have
Um,
put the TLC match over a few of these matches on the
yeah,
Mania card.
but with all that being said, right winner, and I mean, they broke their record. Like they are now they either broke it or tied it at least for most title reigns.
They
And
broke it.
yeah, and like that's a WrestleMania worthy moment
Yeah.
in itself. So like I understand it being on the card there.
Yeah. And
And
I
right winners in
understand.
my opinion. I'm excited for what happens in this New Day heel run.
Yeah. And I definitely understand people feeling like underwhelmed with the match because like the match felt like it was fine. Um I just like I'm happy the New Day won. Like you said, I'm excited to see like where and what they do from here. It's just a shame because it felt like both those teams kind of deserved to be on the WrestleMania card, but it's also like so did 5 tag teams on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously, when you have a situation like this, everyone's going to kind of compare um, the two divisions and what should or
It
should
was
not
all
have been
about
on the
them
card.
not it was all about just having that moment where New Day breaks the record on WrestleMania.
Yeah,
They just felt like that's something they couldn't do not on WrestleMania. And and I think there's an absolute 100% fair argument to that. I mean, and there's an argument that the New Day have earned to have that spot to break the record at Mania, despite what they've done in the last year, even though they may not be the hottest tag team. The fact that they've held down the division for so long and are arguably the greatest tag team of all time, if not
yeah.
at least one of them.
They had I don't know if you saw the clip, but they had a good logic to where it may have been like the Raw recap, but
Yeah, I did.
Xavier Xavier was like John Cena's the GOAT because he has 17, the most title reigns. Well, the New Day is the GOAT now because we have the most tag team title reigns. Which there is a case. Obviously, you can sit here and
Hmm.
debate forever who's the greatest tag team of all time, but I think we definitely have been blessed, at least us, for like watching wrestling this past decade plus to have like the Usos and the New Day as two staples, as two goats, two of the top tag teams ever. So
Hmm.
definitely just appreciate the New Day while you can, because the next thing you know, they're going to be retiring, and we're going to wish we had more New Day teaming up on our television. So let's move on, Dylan. Jade Cargill defeated Naomi. How do we feel?
Yeah. The match was just I really enjoyed it actually. I thought it was great. It was just too short.
Yeah,
They just should have given them
let's
more time.
see. Uh 9 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, too short, man. Like at least give them like 12. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
um it was really good. I think Jade was the right winner. I'm really excited to see where Naomi goes from here. I think this was
Seems like the
absolute.
feud's going to continue.
Yeah, I more meant like kind of after this feud. Um,
Gotcha.
and I think it had the right winner too. Like I think Jade needed that win a lot more than Naomi did. Um, and I was yeah, I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I really did. I just wish they gave him some more time.
Yeah, I mean, again, another great match. I think night one as a whole got way too much hate. And I can understand it feeling
I think
like,
night two just kind of blew it up, except the main event.
yeah,
It was like if you swapped the main events, night two would have completely destroyed night one, probably.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much step in step with you with this match. Right person won. It was a good match overall, and I'm excited for these women to continue this feud because they are going to continue it after what happened on Friday Night SmackDown. So, Dylan, we got a new United States champion, baby.
Yeah.
Fa
Bah,
two. I
yeah,
was.
that I mean.
Y'all better get in where y'all fit in. God.
Post to post, coast to coast. I'm gonna dog wash your ass. Oh, I said it wrong. I have to redo it. Post to post, coast to coast. I'm gonna dog walk your ass. Yeah, that I mean. 5, 2.
Yeah, Jacob
Yeah, man, I
Fatu
love
beat
that.
LA Knight for the US Championship. That was for me. I don't know
So,
about you, Dylan, but that was my my biggest pop of the night was that. I
yeah, man, that
freaked
was
out. I
awesome.
scared my whole house.
Um, just so hyped that it happened, man, and he absolutely deserves it.
Beat him fair and square.
Fair and square, clean win. We knew that was happening, baby. I, like it's rare you get a talent like Jacob Fatu. Truly, like he's a
Yeah.
rare guy. Um, do you think like the movements he does and stuff with his body? Do you think that's like a tribute to Umaga, or do you think he does it without even realizing it, and like it just happens to be the same as Umaga because they're family?
Um, I'm sure there's definitely some influence,
Yeah.
but I think
Like part of me thinks he just like they both just naturally like
I
did
think
it
there is a
because
lot
it's like
of him just doing it naturally.
no, yeah, and I think it's like, and I'm no, it's sick. I
Yeah.
love like it makes me it when he does that. I'm just like, dude, this is literally Umaga, and he's the most agile wrestler in the entire family. Like it's insane.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, dude, we could sit here talk about Jacob Fatu for
Like
100 hours.
it feels like the family knows too, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
It feels like they know how special he is,
Yeah,
and
oh,
that he's like
100%.
the um like, and I know they know like everyone's kind of special, but it seems like they know like Jacob's got that extra. Like I'd be curious to see where kind of Solo feels in all of this and how he fits, because it's got to be a weird situation for him, right?
Oh, big time. Cuz he was like kind of like the Jacob Fatu before Jacob Fatu. Like he was kind of like the cool shiny new toy that they had bring in, and then it was like everyone was like, "Yo, Solo's great. He's the enforcer. He's this and that," and everyone was pumped on Solo, and rightfully so, because Solo is great. And then you're like, "All right, but wait a second, we're gonna bring in Jacob Fatu,
Jacob
who's going
Fatu is
to
just like
outshine."
another level. Like he's just like, it's not that he's like Jacob Fatu is like one of the best on the entire roster.
Oh,
Like it's not even.
100%.
It's like that's the thing where I'm almost like I wonder. I hope the rest of his family understands that it's like I don't know. I hope they see. They have to. They have to know that he's like
Oh, they've
got
probably
the
known
most
it for a
potential.
while.
Yeah.
So, I
Um.
mean,
When you got to think, him and Solo are probably closer than like him and the Usos, right? I mean, they're a lot closer in age.
oh yeah. Yeah, I think that like relationship wise, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Like outside of
Oh yeah.
wrestling,
Yeah.
I know he's tight with all of them. Obviously, they're family, but um,
Yeah, because they were in a tag team together.
on the Indies, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd assume they were fairly close. But let me ask you this real quick, Dylan. Who's winning a world title first, Fatu or Solo?
Fatu.
Okay,
It's not even a question at this point.
Fatu's got a couple world titles in him.
Yeah.
What do you think? Over under?
Fatu might main event WrestleMania next year.
Dude, he could. Wouldn't surprise anybody.
Like, there's a really strong chance that
You
happens.
think
There's a
over
really
under?
strong chance he wins the Royal Rumble.
Oh, that would be awesome. 5.5 world title reigns for Fatu. Over or under?
It's funny you say that because I do think 5 is the number.
Yeah, that's what I also kind of felt like 5.
I'm going to go under, but I'm going to go because when he holds titles, he's going to hold them for a while.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, he might get like 4. I'm thinking 4 or 5 he might end up getting. But
they'll be
like year-long reigns. Like,
yeah, I fully agree. So, all right. Oh, also something else that happened on the kickoff show, which we'll get into before we get into El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix, but WWE bought AAA.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know a ton about AAA. I know they've had a few good wrestlers.
I mean, they're the biggest company in Mexico by far.
Bigger than CMLL?
Yes.
Okay. I know they're like the top 2. I didn't know like how.
I mean, I might be saying that completely and being completely wrong, but I'm almost positive.
All right.
I feel confident. And well, it's at least the oldest. It's older than CMLL. At least. Like, I know AAA is at least the oldest, one of the oldest in Mexico, and like biggest. Yeah, they have to be bigger than CMLL because I think they do like the AAA Mania type thing.
They do.
That's like huge. That's at like soccer stadiums. That's like really, really big. But anyway, not sure how to feel about it, right? Because I think there's obviously like so many great opportunities. Worlds Collide, we're getting the AAA and NXT pay-per-view. That's going to be awesome. I guess it's also
weekend.
Yeah, it's also really good to see that it's not a thing to where they're like AAA is no longer going to be a thing. It is still going to be a thing and is now just owned by WWE. So it's really just it's what happens with it, right? Because I think the first idea as a wrestling fan is you just think of the territories and the death of what was professional wrestling at that time when the McMahon Empire really took everything over in America and became the company. And now you see it and you're like, damn, are they about to do that with the world and like really take it all over? But I don't know. It's just weird, man, because it's like I'm a fan, and you know, as a fan, it's exciting that I'm going to have a lot more access to all of this stuff. But at the same time, I think I would really love to talk to Mexican wrestling fans and see where their take is on it, right? Because I think they're probably in a similar boat to where they're like, it's cool that Lucha Libre is going to be able to seen on a much larger scale and given the respect that it deserves because it's holds such a large place in the history of professional wrestling and wrestling as a whole today and always will, right? But at the same time, you're like, it's being bought by, dare I say, the evil empire of it all, WWE. You know what I mean? And it's interesting. So it's exciting nonetheless. But yeah, I'd love to talk to like wrestling fans of Mexican descent and see how they feel about it. People in Mexico see how they feel about it. Fans of AAA. But yeah, I think there's obviously tons of pros, right? But there's also some cons, obviously.
Yeah.
So, no pun intended.
That was like my biggest thing, which is just like, first of all, it's like a historic deal, right? But then it's like you said, like you don't want WWE to own a monopoly on everything because we've been there, we've done that, and wrestling's at its best when there's multiple different options for
Yeah,
people
like
to watch and for wrestlers
as
to
much hate
go.
as we give AEW from time to time and all that stuff. Like I want the AEW to be successful. Like I
Yeah.
want New Japan to be successful. I want Ring of Honor. I want ML. Like professional wrestling as a whole is better for it and because of it. So yeah, I mean, I think we're just at like a weird spot where it's just kind of a wait and see sort of thing. But
Yeah.
we'll
Hopefully
see.
it'll just be like, I'm assuming it was for like financial reasons. That would be the only reason I would assume why they would sell if they were just having money issues. So hopefully WWE is just like, we'll buy you and kind of just like help them improve and let them do their thing without having, their hand in that cookie jar and really just like micromanaging them. Um,
Yeah. I
so
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
we'll have to
hopefully
see.
it really is just kind of like a parent company sort of situation and um true and they don't like you said get themselves involved too much and they let the people who have been doing a good job continue to do a good job, but yeah, like we both said, only time will tell.
So Dylan, El Grande Americano made his WrestleMania debut. He defeated Rey
Yeah.
Phoenix, who subbed in for the injured Rey Mysterio. Um, Pretty good match. I mean, dude, these guys
Yeah,
cooked.
honestly, yeah.
Reverse 450 was pretty nuts.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was weird. It felt like the whole point of having this match on the card though was to unmask El Grande, and then it didn't happen. So it's like I don't. Do you agree? Like it kind of felt like that was the reason to have this on the card.
um, no, I didn't feel like that was gonna
Okay.
happen.
Did you think he was gonna win, regardless?
Yeah.
Interesting. Um, I don't know how I felt about the outcome. I just felt like it was gonna get revealed, like it was gonna get unmasked. I don't know if that was the plan, and then they scrapped it when Ray wasn't involved. I doubt they would have. I doubt if they were gonna unmask him, they would just scrap that plan though. So
And well, don't you think they may have done like a mask versus mask
yeah,
situation
maybe.
to
Yeah,
make it
you're
more
probably right.
fun?
That's probably what will end up happening.
Because it's also like fairly disrespectful to like demask somebody. So like Ray Phoenix trying to rip off his mask is like fairly not chill for like Lucha League. Hey,
dude,
I'm
it's
just
El
saying.
Grande Americano, and he's been doing it to all of his opponents.
I'm just saying. Good on mask. Someone do mask versus mask. Do it properly.
I don't know if that's the proper thing to be like. It might be disrespectful to Lucha Libre to unmask El Grande Americano. I think that's pretty ironic.
um. So yeah, I mean, you were what you wanted Ray Phoenix to win.
I don't know that I cared that he won. I don't know that I'm even that upset with the outcome. I think I was more just confused. It just didn't feel like it needed to be at WrestleMania.
Oh,
I
it
think that's
definitely
more.
didn't.
Yeah, I think that's just more where my head was at. I think I'm just like, I just wish that there was like, I wish like Chelsea was on the card instead or something.
Yeah, I'm
But
with you. It was definitely I don't know. It was definitely a situation of like him versus Mysterio did not, and then we talked about it before, but they didn't need to be on the card. But it was also like I don't know. You put two great wrestlers in the ring, and they tore it down for however
no,
long they
yeah,
went.
and I think it put Ray Phoenix on the map. It was a great opportunity for him, and he absolutely delivered. So
So Tiff retained.
Tiffany Stratton retains. In what was an overall good match. It was kind of like sloppy. I don't know if is the best word, but it wasn't neat. It
Yeah,
was a little like,
a little
but I'm not
messy.
even a little messy. But I'm not even necessarily saying that in a bad way. Like I think it kind of with the kind of tension that was brought into this story. I don't think it needed to be like this smooth wrestling masterpiece. I think that would have. I think that like ruggedness and a little bit of rough around the edges to the match actually, I think it was made a lot more sense for this match. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't know, like Tiff did her like Alabama slam thing, and she in no way like botched it at all. It was just like not as smooth as it usually is, and a little more rough. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I almost think that added to the match rather than took away. I know a lot of people thought it was a bit more messy than I maybe thought it was, but at the end of the day, um, I enjoyed it, and it had the right winner. So
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. It'll be interesting to see where Tiff goes from here. It feels like we're done with her versus Charlotte. We saw Jade Cargill kind of step up to Tiff before Naomi came out to attack her. So,
mhm.
actually, Nia is now back in the mix on SmackDown.
Yeah,
So I guess we're probably will potentially go back to Nia versus Tiff, which I don't know why they put Nia on Raw for 2 or 3 months just to
yeah,
bring
it was
it back
weird.
to
I don't know.
SmackDown.
We'll
But
see what's gonna happen. I'm sure the draft is soon, and then that'll put a lot more clarity in things moving forward. We all remember, you know, after WrestleMania, things get a little weird when they're leading up to the draft over these last few years. So
yeah, I mean, and dude, main event, night one. Talk about a banger. You talk about cinema. You talk about Paul Heyman laying into some nuts, Dylan. I mean, what a match. What a story here. And I mean, like you said, you predicted it. You said that Seth was winning this whole time. Um, and dude, gosh, am I excited for this to play out?
yeah, man, this is gonna be awesome. This match was awesome. It was like I really like that they didn't, and I noticed this, and I was happy they didn't because there was a lot of multi-person matches on the card, right? Like because they had like 2 triple threat matches, they had the fatal 4-way, um, and they didn't like use that as an excuse to just break out weapons and all the
Yeah.
time and use them a ton, which can really go either way. They can really add to a match or take away from a match. And in this case, I don't know what would have happened, but I just think they did a really good job at using them sparingly and not overusing them. Um, since they were able to in like triple threat and fatal 4-way rules and other things like that. But yeah, one of the most. I mean, some people, a lot of. I won't lie, I saw a lot of people predicted maybe Paul will join with Seth. I didn't really see that part coming. I knew Seth was gonna win. I really, really did. They had some great near falls in this match. A couple of times, it really looked like somebody was about to get the victory,
Yeah.
but Paul didn't get involved. And that whole time, I'm just like, I know Paul is gonna have an effect on this match, so it can't be over until Paul gets involved. And of course, he did. The low blow to CM Punk, seemingly rejoining his tribal chief before delivering another one. And dare I say, he seemed much more pleased to be delivering that one. There was sadness almost in the face of CM Punk or Paul Heyman, excuse me, when he delivered the low blow to CM Punk, almost as if he did not want to do that. And you could hear him saying, "You made me do this. You made
Yeah.
me do this." And I don't, and I think that will be part of it. I think Paul, and I think we're going to get into that. Like, I think they're going to play on the emotions that Paul did not want to do that to Punk, but he seemed a lot more excited to do it to Roman. And I think that
I'll
makes,
tell you this, he rubbed it in.
yeah.
That was
And I
awesome.
think that makes sense, right? Because of the way that Roman's been mistreating the wise man
Yeah,
and disrespecting the wise man, right?
sure.
Um so and but then we get the alignment with Seth Rollins. That
Yeah.
was the part I really didn't see coming because it just felt um like the whole time in my head I was just like they just don't need to do that. But then as soon as it happened, I was like, this is so awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
It's
this is
truly, it's like one of those things where you just kind of say jokingly is built like an ultimate dream faction. And you're just
yeah.
like, what if like these insane dudes just joined
Yeah, it
up?
was
And
just
it's
like it
like,
just felt like
this is
so
awesome.
like it just felt like it was just like, oh, they're not gonna put Paul with Seth because Seth is just so like great, and they're just not gonna like put Paul with him because there's areas where Paul is needed more than being with Seth. And I still think that's true, but I'm 100% okay with them just saying, screw it. Let's just tell an insanely awesome story. And they're also taking full advantage of the fact now that Paul Heyman isn't just a manager anymore. You know what I mean? Like, he never was just a manager. Let's make that very clear. He never was just an advocate, never was just a wise man. But WWE has really taken full advantage of how incredibly talented the wise man is, Paul Heyman, and they've he's a like he's always been a character, but he's like entrenched in the story now more than ever, right?
Yeah.
And good because it's like he should be. Um, and
It
it's
feels like with a lot of his stuff before, he was kind of just like a sidekick. But like for this, now it feels like he's like the main character.
he's a huge part of this story. This is
Yeah.
like he's a main character in this
Yeah.
story. He is like it's very much it's not like Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins, and we'll get into that, but
Mhm.
it's not so I mean, let's get into it right
Yeah,
away.
let's
So
get
obviously
into it
we
now.
get Seth wins, and then the next night we don't get too much of like an explanation or anything behind it, just some nice aura being delivered between the new partnership of Seth and Paul. And then obviously we get interrupted by Punk and then Roman, who is eventually speared out of midair by Braun Breaker, who then eyes up Seth before delivering another one to Punk. And Seth puts his arm around him, and these three men stand tall: Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. And of course, a little bit of a callback. We saw this. Paul Heyman has been a fan of Braun Breaker for a while
Sure.
now.
Sure
We
was.
so
Caught that
so
clip.
the seeds have been planted a long time ago for Braun Breaker to be a Paul Heyman guy. And where I'm really trying to get at this is where we're saying with the super faction and stuff, into where he's always Heyman, as incredible as he is, and he's never been just a manager or just an advocate, but he's always been more of an advocate and side part of the story. He's a part of the story, right? But now it's like this is not Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. This is not Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman. This is Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. Like
Yeah.
he is not like an accomplice to this. He is in this. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
he is a main factor and contributor to this, and he always is. But for him to truly be portrayed as such in this way, it's just awesome, and he fully deserves it. It's gonna be absolutely sick, man. Talk about the most badass faction ever.
Dude. So what are you thinking Seth and Braun versus Roman and Punk tag team action? Backlash a little later. You think we're getting that down the line?
Definitely. I honestly, it feels like Backlash.
Okay,
It
because
feels,
we only got like 2 weeks till Backlash.
yeah. So to me, it feels like Breaker and Seth versus Punk and Roman at Backlash, and then we probably get the debut. I mean, it probably won't be a debut for whoever it is, but the debut of them in this new faction with Seth and Breaker. And I think like Seth and Braun get the win against those two at Backlash via help from whoever is the next person to join them.
Yeah, and so this would be a good time to plug our next two YouTube videos, Dylan, because we got 10 names for this new Seth Rollins faction, and then we got 10 wrestlers who should join this faction. Those will be out Wednesday and Friday this week. So, Dylan, let's move on. Tonight, number 2, this one really felt like a WrestleMania night. We're going to kick it
Yeah,
off
man.
with the absolute banger of a triple threat match, which was Io retaining against Bianca and
Yeah,
Rhea.
potentially
Holy
match of
cow.
the weekend, right?
Oh,
Um,
I'd put it up
Probably.
against any
Yeah,
of them.
I,
Probably
I
was the best match.
yeah, I think it was my favorite of the weekend. Um, just great, great, great match. On top of the fact that it had a great winner, the right winner, and it really kind of, I think it tied all the. I think it just went exactly how it's supposed to, right? Like
Yeah.
Rhea and Bianca continue that feud. Io gets to move on with the title. And of course they'll go back to Bianca and Rhea probably individually getting shots at like they're major players. Like they're gonna go back. But it gives you now like time for Io to go establish herself more as a champion. You had an opportunity to put Io Sky in that category with Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, and you did it. I mean, like she's right up there, man. She's with the best of the best, and great finish, right winner, loved it. Favorite match of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't agree more. I'm very excited to see where Io goes from here, see who's going to be up next to challenge her. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be fun, and I think that probably both Bianca and Rhea will be missing for the next few weeks. Obviously, Bianca has said she had a few broken fingers, and so after on during Raw, they kind of made it seem like she's gonna be out for a little while, probably. Obviously, until she gets her fingers healed up and until they have something good for her, which I would assume would be going back to Rhea Ripley. So again, probably the best match on the whole WrestleMania card, and I'm happy because that should have been probably the main event for one of these nights. And I think that they went down there with a chip on their shoulder, and they proved everybody wrong for not putting them on in the main event. So, Dill, we had a Sin City street fight where Drew McIntyre got the win against Damian Priest. I thought this was a fairly good match in terms of street fights go. I think the right person won. And I thought it was a pretty solid match overall. I'm happy
Yeah,
that Drew finally got a nice win here.
yeah. I thought, like you said, right person won. Drew needed this victory a lot more than Damian did, and on top of that, I really did. I really enjoyed this match. Like I thought they did a great job with all the big spots with Damien going back through the two tables and the Razor's Edge through the tables with like it was obvious, like there was no spots that were like, whoa, that was absolutely crazy insane, but there doesn't always need to be, right? And I think that was a great match, really entertaining. It gave us pretty much everything we wanted, and we got the right winner, like you said, in Drew McIntyre, who really needed that win, in my opinion. So I enjoyed it, and yeah, it'll be exciting to see everything that they have planned for Drew moving forward.
Number one contender for the U.S. title.
Yeah,
You think that's going down at Backlash? Gotta be, right?
probably right.
Gotta be.
And then maybe LA Knight gets involved.
Probably.
But we'll see. Maybe they do a fatal four way with Damien and LA Knight.
Interesting.
I don't know. I just thought that. But
Maybe further down the line.
yeah,
'Cause I feel like they got to give Drew his singles match at least because he's the number one contender.
yeah.
If
Totally.
anything, triple threat with LA Knight at potentially at
Yeah,
Backlash.
I can
But
see that.
dude, we had another shocking title change, Dylan.
Yeah.
Dirty Dominic Mysterio is your Intercontinental Champion. Talk me through this, Dylan. He turned from a heel to a babyface in the span of 20 minutes. What did his crowd reaction shock you? This crowd seemed a little funky because I know they were booing Bianca a little bit. I don't know
They were
why.
definitely a heel crowd. I mean,
Yeah,
that's for sure. But
cheering
also,
Dirty Dom.
but to be fair, they were booing him out of the building when he came out. Like they were
Yeah,
booing him so hard. And one, I think it was people didn't think it was actually going to happen. I think like everyone, and it's like we boo Dom, but we love Dom.
we love
He's so
with this.
good.
We
Like,
boo him with a smile on our face.
yeah, so it's like we're happy to be booing him. So I think that was the moment, when heels are so over as heels and they eventually it eventually turns into a baby face. It happens so often. Like this isn't
Yeah,
a unique thing to Dominic Mysterio.
happened with Roman.
It was kind of just like a beautiful moment the way it went down, because it was just like, I don't know, like I said, his entrance, he's getting booed out of the building, and then he wins the match, and it's the one of the biggest pops of the weekend. Like it,
Yeah,
um, and now I think they'll probably. I wonder what they're gonna do, because you got a full fledged turn him babyface against Finn in my opinion at this point. Like you gotta plant the seeds for that feud a little bit longer. Just turn Finn absolute heel and make Dom a babyface and just give him a babyface run, even if he fucking loses the title to Finn as a with Finn as the heel. That's not even the worst call, because then I think it still accomplishes the goal of elevating Dom.
yeah. So I feel like they're probably are waiting a little bit to make like an official decision on if they're going to turn him or not to see
Yeah,
like
totally.
how other places react to him.
Yes, and I will say, like, I don't know if you've seen any of the Bailey interview with Chris Van Vliet, but she was just talking about the way Triple H does things, and she said it very much is like that a lot of the time, to where just with stuff they do, they're like, all right, this is like the plan for tonight, and this is what we think might happen, but we're gonna see what the crowd kind of thinks we're gonna get. Like, apparently Triple H is very much more than ever willing to let the crowd direct him, which is awesome, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's very awesome, and
and I think it's the right call, like you said, right? Like, I don't know, like Dom could continue to just get booed out of buildings, and it might not be the best call to turn a baby face. Who knows?
yeah, I
Um,
think like right now, kind of just like let him keep on the course that he's been having with
yeah, I think
leaning
tease it
more
a couple
towards
times.
heel.
I think like tease it a couple times, see the reaction, see are people really wanting it, or and then we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking about what the people want, Dylan, they wanted a certain somebody to wrestle Randy Orton,
Yeah, man.
and they did.
Say his name and he appears, brother.
That's right. We believed in Joe Hendry. My goodness. Talk about a shock of the century, Dylan.
Yeah, man. What a moment. God, we need to clip this with like what I said a few weeks ago, because I said
Yeah,
Joe
you,
Hendry,
you did
um,
say it.
and I thought he was on Busted Open the day after, and I thought he said great things. Like, I thought he explained it very well. Like, some people were like, "Oh, TNA just got completely squashed. Like, looked like shit." Okay, it's like, first of all, TNA is a smaller company than WWE, so
Yeah.
like let's make that very clear. Like, I love TNA. WWE is never going to like make you view them as that same. Like, why would they want you to view Joe Hendry the same way you view Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso and Gunther? Like, they don't want you to. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, it
And you're
just,
not supposed to.
yeah, and you're really not. Like, and it's like, oh, like, but the TNA champion just look, yeah, to Randy Orton, to like one of the goats. Like,
Yeah.
are we
That was the
kidding?
thing. Like TNA
And
did not get
it was
squashed at all.
entertaining.
It's
He
just
got
like
in a
it's simply
no.
wrong.
He actually got in a lot more offense than I kind of thought he was going to.
Oh, dude, I thought it was gonna be a 5-second match. I thought he was just gonna
Like,
eat an RKO and get pinned. Like he got
yeah,
in more
like,
than I thought.
and then Randy did his turn thing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Like it was awesome, man. Great moment for Joe. He seemed so over the moon about it, and they obviously, I mean, Triple H doesn't make that call to Joe Henry if they don't look at making him a part of their roster in the future, potentially. Really. So,
Big time.
I think that showed a lot. So, yeah, it was a really great moment, and it was a lot of fun. So it really, really sucks that KO is injured, and of course we would have loved to get the KO and Randy match, but they turned lemons into lemonade and gave us a really great moment.
Yeah. And so let's move on because we had one of my least favorite matches, which was Logan Paul getting the win over AJ Styles, man.
Yeah, man.
Uh
Didn't like it at all. Didn't think it was necessary, and makes me sad because they definitely are going to push Logan moving forward. So we'll see what
yeah.
happens. But
Yeah. I mean,
um,
I can't believe that match. So I'm looking at it, 17 minutes. I can't believe it went that long.
yeah, man. I will say, God, it sucks that his finisher is cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
And it
It's so
sucks.
fucking
I want to
cool,
hate it
dude.
so bad.
It pisses me
I
off
wish he would just
so
continue
much.
doing the stupid knockout punch
I
instead
know.
of his new cool ass finisher. But whatever. He's still a piece of shit human. So, um, but yeah, this is just I'm throwing this out there.
Throw it.
They should bring back Cardona and have like a feud between him and Logan for the internet title. That would be awesome.
Okay. I can get behind that.
Yeah. So, just a thought.
All right, and then we got temporary new women's tag team champs, Dylan the Man. Probably the easiest prediction for a while, which was Becky Lynch coming back to team up with Elira for the women's tag team titles, just to lose them the next night and to turn on Lyra. So I guess we could talk about this situation as a whole. I think number one, I'll just say, feel awful for Bailey.
Yeah, they screwed Bailey hard, dude.
And it's funny because I didn't listen to the Chris Van Vliet interview, but like you could I saw some clips of like her kind of talking about WrestleMania weekend, and you could tell like she was definitely like pretty bummed because
Yeah.
she knew what was going to happen, and it's a shame. I don't like. It's just it felt like it was unnecessary, just to get the Becky pop at WrestleMania. If like obviously that's why they did it, but it's like I don't know. You could have just gotten the same thing without them winning the tag titles, without her replacing Bailey. Like it was just very, you could have easily just avoided this weird situation overall.
Yeah, I think they just could have had her return on Monday and then had her turn heel on Lyra. I think that really but I mean, dude, it's WrestleMania and they're going to do what they're going to do to get the cheap pops. Like, let's be real.
Just always comes at the expense of the women's tag titles, I feel like.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, but listen, man, like at the end of the day, like we're not getting some sort of shitty run with Lyra and Becky as a tag team. Like they're right back on the right team. It's at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal to me. Like I think, and then the tag title thing, obviously, just they didn't need to win for them to turn, but obviously just gave them a little bit. It just gave a little bit more depth behind the turn for Becky. You know what I mean? With like losing the titles the next day, it made it a little less uncharacteristic and out of left field. I think it just made it all make a little bit more sense. Would I have done it that way? No. I would have just turned her heel and not have them win. But it is what it is. And like you said, it really sucks that it came at the expense of Bailey because I'm really excited to have Becky Lynch back. Like the man is back. Let's go. Like she swerved us. We thought she wasn't going to come back for much longer. I mean, once Bailey went out, it was like became obvious that she was going to return. But up until Bayley was attacked, up until we knew like Bayley was getting replaced, it felt like we kind of had no idea when Becky was going to come back. It felt
Yeah.
like it could be a while. So, and it's exciting to have her back, and she looks great. And like when it's all said and done, sometimes sometimes you just got to get to where you're trying to go, and they got to where they're trying to go, right? And
Yeah.
which is the titles are on a good tag team. The women's tag team titles are still on a good tag team that like I think we can all agree Liv and Raquel are a great team to be holding them right now and establish prestige to them. I think Liv has reached a level of stardom that she isn't going back from. And I think the team of her and Raquel is kind of perfect in that sense. And then at the same time, we're going to get a Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch feud for the women's intercontinental title. We're going to get a good feud for a women's mid-card title.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Put with a huge star like Becky Lynch. And like realistically, I don't know, people are going to say what they want to say. Becky should win that title. Becky should take that title off of Lyra. Like a heel Becky 100% should take that title off of Lyra, and then Lyra can win it back down the road 100%.
Yeah.
But like, if I'm being honest, do the same exact thing they did with her and Bianca, but do it with the women's IC title. Like I'm taking it off Becky. I have her hold it till next Mania. I'm taking it off Lyra. I put it on Becky till SummerSlam or Mania or next Mania. Obviously, you'll have to go away from Lyra and Becky for a little bit, but then you go back to it for the big match and give Lyra the big win.
And I think that having Becky win the title off of Lyra would kind of help Lyra get built as like a bigger babyface. Like I think that would really help. Her
I
as
think
well.
I think they see the Becky Hogan stuff, which is very stupid, by the way. Like,
not true at all.
Let's make this clear. The Sammy Hogan, Becky Hogan, these people aren't booking themselves. These people don't have creative control of their like Hulk Hogan was literally going in there and saying that doesn't work for me, brother. Like he was literally saying they can't do they aren't allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Like they don't have the power to do that. I don't know. I'm just saying like they're not Cena. Like they're not like they're not someone who even like if Becky is refusing to lose, like I think they're just gonna find a way around it and make her lose. Like
yeah,
like they're not just gonna be like, okay, you win. Like
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's not, and also like not to be like I don't know. Like I read Becky's book. I don't know her personally, but like I think everything I've read and seen from Becky, I am very, very, very confident that she felt like shit about what happened to Bayley, about taking Bayley's spot at Mania. Like I all but guarantee she felt like shit about that.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, she seems like a good person who would feel bad about doing that.
And she's like I'm just saying, like in her book, she talks about how like when her Sasha and Charlotte got called up, like she was like, they shouldn't have called me up. Like they should have called up Bayley. Like she talks so highly of Bayley in her book. So that specifically is I'm just like I think it just comes off to me like Becky didn't go in there and go take Bayley off the card. I want to win the tag titles with Lyra.
Yeah. Like I don't know what people think happened.
I don't know.
That.
I understand it's like kind of a joke, but then like people like really run with the shit, and then it's like they act like these. Like I guarantee you, Becky wasn't like, I'm not coming back unless I win the tag titles with Lyra at Mania.
Yeah,
that wasn't the case. Like,
yeah, completely agree. So Dylan, we had one of the bigger maybe the biggest WrestleMania main event, which was the champ John Cena getting number 17, Dylan. How do you feel about this match as a whole?
Um, I didn't think it was a bad match. Like up
Agreed.
until Travis Scott came out. Like literally up until Travis Scott came out. It
Yeah.
was fine. It was good. I was enjoying it. It just like very anticlimactic.
Could not have taken any longer to walk to the ring.
Travis Scott being the main factor, just absolute
It sucks.
trash.
It sucks.
The Rock
That's
going
what
on Pat
pissed me off.
McAfee and basically saying that
Wrestling is fake.
you basically got the biggest face of wrestling telling people that why do you even care? Wrestling's fake.
Yeah,
Like,
fuck off, Dwayne.
fuck off. Like, we've literally heard that every day of our entire lives. We know, asshole. Like,
Dude, I literally heard it during WrestleMania with who I was, which was just obviously they were saying it as a joke, but like I
Yeah.
literally just hear it. Like literally every day in high school, people would tell me,
Yeah,
I would
and
just
it's
tell
just
them to
like,
fuck off. Like we know. That's like I don't know what he gained from like saying that shit. Like you want people to be
bro, it's
passionate
just like personal
about
fucking
stuff.
narcissism. Like, he has to feel like
Dude, he sucks. God, he sucks.
Dwayne The Rock fucking Johnson doesn't comment on Dave LaGreca's TikTok clip from Busted Open if he isn't just like obsessed with filling his own head with bullshit about how he is awesome. Like, you just don't do that. He's The
Yeah.
Rock, dude.
Yeah,
You're one
it
of
was
the most
insane.
famous people in the world. Like,
Yeah. And I just like
and it's also
what
just annoying. Like, and it's also like, I don't know. Like, if you want to be a rich asshole, be a rich asshole. Just don't. You don't have to say anything. You don't need an explanation. Like, on why you're so, like, on why you weren't there, and like if you weren't, whatever. Like, now, once you weren't there, I don't give a fuck, dude. Don't tell me why. You just made it 10 times worse. Like,
did he say
he,
why? Besides that, he thought he didn't. I know he said that he thought that WrestleMania didn't need him.
yeah, and that he didn't want to, like, he wanted the spotlight to be on Cena winning 17.
Oh, not Travis Scott.
Yeah, but it's like,
The
yeah,
fuck?
if that was the case, then why the fuck was there Travis Scott? And then he
Yeah.
basically said, and then The Rock said, he was like, I was just surprised as everyone else when I saw Travis Scott.
Fuck
And he was
off.
like, there was a few things I would have done differently, but like he
Fuck
literally said,
off.
so it's like he's talking shit on Triple H as a booker, saying that he would have booked it differently. And it's like, yeah, probably so would Triple H would have if you fucking showed up to WrestleMania. You fucking told him you weren't coming. Like,
yeah, dude.
after
And
inserting yourself into the middle of the story, John Cena turned heel by selling his soul to you, and they've literally just
doesn't make sense. Just nothing. Has nothing to do with anything now.
You
Like
have
what?
complete
What?
like,
What are we doing? Like, how does
like,
that make sense? Not enough people are pissed about that. By the way,
the only reason this John Cena heel run isn't an absolute disaster is because John Cena is so good at what he does. Like,
yeah,
and it's like the reasoning behind, and it's still kind of almost holding on by a thread. It almost feels like, dare I say, it feels like John Cena is playing the character of a heel.
Mm.
I'm a little bit underwhelmed
okay.
with what we've gotten from Cena, and it's not his fault because the whole thing was built on the premise of him selling out to The Rock, and then The Rock said, "I'm done."
Yeah, that's what. Because he said,
So he turned heel for this entire thing. He did the one thing he's never done his entire career. He's specific, and you inserted yourself into the middle of it, and then said it doesn't need me. Then why? But you put yourself in the middle of it.
yeah. I mean, it it just doesn't make sense because it's like,
What if the main character of a movie just walked off the screen in the middle of it and never came back and they didn't say anything about it?
that's what like pisses me off because the whole thing, this whole John Cena heel turn started because he sold his soul to The Rock. And then literally the following week, we just heard nothing about it. What does it even mean? The one person on that freaking roster who didn't need to sell his soul to The Rock was John Cena, who already has everything that The Rock has. Why would he need to sell his soul? Now, this has nothing to do with Cena selling his soul to The Rock. It's Cena being pissed at all of our fans, which I think is fun and it's a good story, but it's like, you can't just be like, I'm going to do this thing and I'm not going to have a plan for it and I'll show up whenever I feel like it and we'll just see and I'll do things differently. And
This
it's
last
just
Cena
like,
promo on Friday was when it really, if I'm being honest, started to hit me where I was like, are we about to get this same thing every week, kind of?
I mean,
It's kind of been the same promo every week.
yeah.
And it's like, and I think it was fine. Every week was fine against Cody because it was like, everything was fine against Cody. I think we're now like getting to Randy and I'm now like, we're kind of doing similar promos against Randy.
Yeah.
They kind of all sound the same and they are slightly different. And some people might chop me up in the comments, whatever. It's just like, dude, I'm just pissed. I'm so pissed at Dwayne, dude. I'm so pissed at Dwayne Johnson because he fucked everything up by inserting himself
Oh,
into the
once
middle
again,
of
what a shocker.
yeah, he inserted himself in the middle of a story that didn't need him, and then truly like drastically affected the direction of the story. Drastically affected what was happening in the story. Completely shifted it.
Yeah.
And then said, Like, if it's true that this is all based off of this is, I guess, like there's report kind of is that from what I can see, and it kind of makes sense, and I don't know like what you think, and we can kind of end it on this, but like apparently The Rock really wanted Cody to turn. Like he wanted Cody to sell his soul, sort of thing. And
I bet
Triple
he
H,
did.
yeah, and
It would
Triple
have
H,
sucked.
both Triple H and Cody were like hard no, like it's not happening.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, then Cena. And then they were like, okay. And then it's like The Rock just said okay, but he's just been uninterested ever since it's not Cody.
I just don't
Do you buy that?
understand.
Because it kind of makes sense.
I mean, yeah, especially when it's like, it feels like the fact that they didn't do what The Rock wanted and now The Rock's just like not, he's just like barely
The Rock
showing up.
specifically said at McAfee, he said, I would have done a few things a little bit differently, but you know what I mean? 17-time champ, you know, they got where they wanted to be, and I think it's a great moment. And it's just like, he's just shitting on Triple
Why
H.
would you say that shit though?
Because he's a piece of shit.
I know, but I just like don't understand like what goes through his mind.
Because he just needs to be. He's insane. Like he's an insane.
And we're supposed to believe that the final boss and the Raw and Dwayne Johnson are two different people. It's just a character, guys, right?
Yeah.
That bullshit that he said before. God, I hate The Rock. The Rock sucks. It's so funny because every time like I'll talk to somebody who hasn't watched wrestling since they were like younger, and they're like, "Yeah, The Rock's back," and I'm like, "Yeah, but he's like a shitty person," and they're like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he sucks. You should not like The Rock anymore." Like,
Yeah, he's ruining everything.
yeah, I was like, he's literally ruining wrestling,
and it's like he's ruined it more and more with each moment he spends on television.
You think he can't make it any worse? He makes it worse every single time he shows up once every 3 or 4 months. But man, you guys let us know. We had a ton of stuff that happened that we didn't even get into, which we obviously will get into some more stuff in the coming weeks. We have Backlash coming up. Be on the lookout. We'll have our predictions out for that the week of that. And be on the lookout for some new YouTube videos on Wednesday. We asked artificial intelligence to come up with names for Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker's factions. So we will react to those and tell you which ones we think that they should use. And then we asked AI to give us 10 wrestlers who should join the faction. And that'll be out on Friday. So we will give our thoughts on that as well. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought about WrestleMania 41 as a whole. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. You can listen to the Burning Hammer podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. All that stuff will be linked in the description. So, with that being said, I'm Mark Izzo. He's Dylan O'Brien, and we'll catch you in the next video.